Greetings, people who really like grammar, or more likely, people who clicked on this video by mistake. Here is a partial list of my grammar innovations. I added a new one today, condition phrase, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit more. I talked about this in my previous video. I changed the name from absolute phrase to condition phrase. Absolute phrase is outdated, inaccurate, confusing. It's just a crappy name. I named mine condition phrase. A condition phrase is an elliptical synthetic word phrase that describes the condition that exists during the action of the genuine clause. It does nothing else. And in this definition, you see genuine clause, which is actually an independent clause. That's what you would call it. But in my system, I call it a genuine clause. Synthetic means it must be attached to something. It can't stand alone. It's not grammatically complete in itself. And elliptical means that words have been omitted. It is grammatically incomplete. However, meaning is clear when the content is taken in context. So, in other words, when you're using a sentence with a condition phrase, the person hearing you or reading what you write will likely understand what you've said. So how are condition phrases realized? A condition phrase is formed using a noun or pronoun and a participle plus any modifiers. When the participle is a form of the verb be, it is often omitted. So here you have the formula. You don't always have modifiers, but you'll have a noun or a pronoun and some type of participle, even if it's only suggested. So we start with two genuine clauses. You could call them independent clauses. And this is the first level of condition phrase realization. The guards were stoned and drunk. The prisoner easily escaped. Two genuine clauses. To make one sentence from the two genuine clauses, we change the word were, a verb, to the word being, a participle, and replace the first period with a comma. So here we put in being. All right? Oops. We have only one sentence now. We are now at the second level of condition phrase realization. So here's what we have. The guards being stoned and drunk. It's a condition phrase. We don't call it absolute phrase anymore. This is so much better. And here you have your genuine clause. It's still in that sentence. It's still in there. The syntactic anomaly, the thing that might baffle those who read or hear the condition phrase, is that the subject of the condition phrase is not the subject of the genuine clause. All right, you see here guards is the subject of the condition phrase, and prisoners is the subject of the genuine clause. So that's a little weird. For the mind, for the person reading or hearing this, it's a little weird. And to make matters even more bizarre, we move forward. The present participle being, all right, is a form of the be verb. In the condition phrase, this particle can be removed. You can remove it, and you get this. You still have a condition phrase, all right? So now we are at the third level of condition phrase realization. When we see the finished product, we see that step by step, we have moved from genuine to synthetic to elliptical. So we have our genuine, all right, flavor here, our genuine setup, the feel. Then we have the synthetic. You now have a condition phrase that's synthetic. It can't stand by itself. It has to be hooked to something. All right. Then you finally have the finished version. The guards stoned and drunk. The prisoners easily escape. So you have the guards stoned and drunk, and that's your condition phrase. With the two original genuine clauses, a sense of completeness is felt. Up here, a sense of completeness. Once we create the condition phrase, the sentence might sound grammatically peculiar. However, when the sentence is taken in the context of the entire discourse, we will understand the meaning. In other words, When someone's speaking and we know what the topic is and what the deal is, we kind of will understand what he or she means when we hear the condition phrase. Ultimately, we discovered that the only thing the condition phrase does is describe the condition that exists during the action of the genuine clause. It does nothing else. And to prove it, we look at many examples. In all these examples, the condition phrase, the final result here, the final product, all it does is state the condition that exists during the action of the genuine clause. That's all it does. All right? So we call it a condition phrase, not absolute phrase, and we move on. The traditional definition of the absolute phrase states clearly that the phrase includes a participle. We saw above that in the synthetic stage, the second level, this is true. But in many cases, by the elliptical stage, the third level, the participle has disappeared. So you have your genuine level, your synthetic, and then your elliptical. In other words, in elliptical, something's definitely missing. You end up with the guards, stoned, and drunk. You say, well, where's the participle? See, when you're reading or hearing this, you say, well, where's the participle? So we look at the condition phrase in such a way that we imagine a subject side and a predicate side. So on the subject side, you have your guards. On the predicate side, you don't see or hear the verb were or the participle being, but you know it's in there. In your mind, you know it's in there. You could call it a ghost verb and a ghost participle. You don't see it or hear it, but it's in there somewhere. And then you still have these words, stoned and drunk. Well, they're subject complements, or you could call them predicate adjectives. All right? Now, we want to make this clear. Stoned and drunk are past participles. They are participles, but neither are the participle requisite to establishing an acceptable condition phrase. Even though these are participles, this is the participle here. It qualifies this condition phrase, even though you don't see that participle. Now back here at this level, it was there, but it disappeared and we ended up with this. You understand? It's a beautiful thing, actually. Now, in the above example, we see clearly that we have subject complements, which essentially are noun complements. A subject complement is a noun complement. I did a whole bunch of videos on noun complements. I did a study more comprehensive than any that I've seen on the internet. I haven't seen anybody go as deep into the noun complement as I have. So you can check my other videos for that. But you'll see that this is all related to that. We will ordinarily find a variety of different grammatical elements on the predicate side of the condition phrase. Let's look at a few. Adjectives. Well, where's the adjective? The guards, stoned and drunk. These are acting as adjectives, even though they are in participle form. These are past participles, but they're functioning as adjectives. So they would be subject complements or predicate adjectives. They would be complementing guards. Stoned, drunk, complementing guards. All right? Now you can have a noun in your condition phrase. The guards were chumps. Guards, chumps. Chumps is complementing guards. And even though you have this final product here, you still have chumps as a subject complement, or you could call it a predicate noun. And then there's prepositional phrases that show up in condition phrases. The guards were off duty. See, that's why the prisoners escaped. The guards were off duty. It's a prepositional phrase, but it's functioning as a subject complement or a predicate adjective. So from the above, we can see clearly that the condition phrase qualifies as a noun complement carrier. And that's one of my innovations. It's a thing I created, noun complement carrier. So you see that when I did my videos in logical order, starting with the word that and ending up here, with this video, I did it in logical order, and you see that the noun complement, the aspect, the idea, the essence of the noun complement, like I said repeatedly, shows up everywhere. It's just all over the place. And it's even here in the condition phrase. So thanks for being incredibly patient. And we'll move forward from here and see what we get. Good night.